Well, folks, hopefully you guys are prepared for winter here, because at least in Ohio, it's winter. Well, it's been winter for a while. This is the first time we actually had any freeze. Checking barrels, everything looks froze up. We didn't have any heaters plugged in or anything like that because we've been, well, honestly, tomorrow we're gonna get up to 40, so it's like almost pointless. But we got probably 2-3 inches of snow here. High tick A's, 2-3 inches of snow. So we're dealing with that. Plus it's gonna stay freezing today. Like it's 25 degrees right now. Oh good, chicken water's still de-thawed. These chicken coops stay relatively warm, especially if you have a bunch of chickens in them and do deep bedding. But, so we're checking on everybody today. We just hooked up Mr. Jojo and Churro's water. We had all this stuff ran ahead of time, so it was easy to deal with. We just hadn't plugged it in, because, well, if it's not frozen, then you don't have to worry about it. Especially if the temperatures are 50 degrees December 18th, you know. So, just double checking everybody. Had to run Dolly baby, her extension cord, and honestly, this ladder is very conveniently placed so that we don't have to have the cord in the dirt. Not that it matters, but I'm just a little bit particular. Maybe we can blame my father for that one on extension cords, because I really rather not, you know, lay this here in the snow and then it go and then short something out and I got problems. But all the water's froze up. Now they do have swimming holes to drink from, which is not ideal, but if you own animals at all, you know they would sometimes rather drink from that than a fresh and clean rain barrel. So that's what we've done up here so far. The only thing different we need to do is baby Moana, which I'm not going to open the door, because the second I open that door, the pigs are going to go absolutely insane and start screaming and yelling at me because they want food, but it ain't time for food yet. So she's the only one that needs anything done. We have not got a heater yet for her, which that's actually something I should probably order today. Let's just poke our head in. She has this pipe, and this pipe is too small for the one heater we can get from Tractor Supply. So we need to get a fish style heater, which is basically like a broom handle, basically the size of a broom handle, and it'll just sit down in there, and we should be able to lower it all the way to the bottom and get it to work that way. What are you doing, knucklehead? So she's the only one that needs water dealt with. They all have fresh bedding, or at least mostly fresh bedding. The other pigs like to eat it, so I need to do a video on it at some point. But as you can hear, we're being grumpy because we want food. So let's go check on the cows, see what we got to do there, and let's check on our freeze miser. I don't know if I ever said in a video that I got one yet, but I have one. So let's go check that out. So here's something interesting, folks. All of our water up at the house is solid. This down here, not a problem. In our red barrel for baby girls, there's just a touch of ice, and our black barrel here ain't got nothing in it. So that's encouraging. It means our barn is staying warm, which is good, and that means our water hasn't really hit the freezing point, obviously, or else it would be frozen. You know, kind of redundant and stupid. That's encouraging because that means I don't have to deal with this water. And this water is going to be the challenge. So last year what we did is we ran an extension cord and we hooked the heater up to both the black tank and the red barrel for the babies. I also had a float, which we're not doing this year at all. But quit your yapping. But we need to set that up again so that they have water throughout the winter, because they're going to be in here for quite a while, if not all winter. Which we also need to figure out our hay situation for these girls too, but that'll be another day and another time. But oh my goodness, we are so sassy. We're going to check you guys in a minute. But this is encouraging. I don't have to deal with this today. Tomorrow we're going to get up to 35, 40, 50, somewhere crazy like that, so we're not going to freeze. And honestly, if we do, I can just keep this black tank thawed out and then just dump it into the red tank, and if the water from the black is going into the red, it'll help warm it up and keep it de-thawed. So move on to the next set of critters. Let's go to some key cats. They're the easiest farm animal that we got. They don't require any winter prep. They find their own water source, which is either the spring, the cow water troughs, the creek, wherever they decide to go, and we just feed them. And as you can hear, they scream and yell if I don't feed them quickly. But they're not starving at all. They just think they are. I did say I had a freeze miser. It's definitely freeze misering. So I just checked. It's like 21 to 25 degrees out. It depends on what you take into consideration. You know, out here, it's probably a little colder. We're a little windier out here. But these freeze misers basically work in a T format with a float, and that'll open up at, I think, 37 degrees and just start trickling so the water flows. The issue I'm running into is we use Zip It. I really should have a discharge pipe on this, but the only way to put in an effective discharge pipe is to do one of two things. Either start a siphon, control your siphon perfectly so that it never gets too low on water, or you drill a hole in the side of your tank and have an overflow. Like drill a hole right here, have an overflow. And the issue with that is I have hills. So if my tank's setting like this, then all my water is just gonna flow out and the float's never gonna stop. And sometimes I can't turn the tank because of the garden hose orientation where the cows are and such. So I'm kind of stuck with what I got here. But it's just draining house water. You know, it's just coming from my well, which I could maybe turn it down some and control some of that. But the issue is that if I do that, then I have a frozen garden hose and I gotta wait till it de-thaws. Now what I could do is, since I know it's gonna be 40 degrees tomorrow and I have a decent flow on the spring here, I could just turn it off for today, let it de-thaw, and then use spring water. You know, that should suffice cows for a day. But that's why a lot of these farmers will actually set this up so it overflows in a way that you don't have to worry. Now I would just turn it off, you know, turn the float off and let the freeze miser fill it up, but that's probably flowing, you know, maybe a couple gallons an hour. I don't know what the actual rating is. I didn't look. So unless cows are drinking, it's still gonna overflow anyways. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation here. And these guys should have plenty of food. We're gonna go check that here, but I'm not gonna take you guys with me. The video's probably getting long and boring. So that's it. Just want to show you guys the actual winter prep. I know I've talked about it a bunch, but here we're actually doing it and dealing with winter and getting eaten by a cow. I must taste good. I must taste really good because he doesn't seem to care. Oh, is Papa gonna come up and eat me too? Help, help, I'm being eaten by cows. They're cannibals. Well, I'm not a human, or I'm not a cow, so I guess it can't be cannibals, right? All right, guys, see you on the next one.